would happen if babies were only made by orgasms.
Female orgasms.
Female orgasms.
They technically are made by male.
That's true.
Don't even get me started on like the masturbation talk.
Yeah, I can't say I had that talk with my mom, but she was also super not judgmental about stuff. So if I was to come to her with anything or ask her anything, she was really good about responding and not making it super weird.
For my school, the health teacher was like this very no-nonsense woman who was like, you're gonna have hair and you're gonna bleed.
It shouldn't be awkward to talk about it. It should be just normal.
All the female models that you'd see like in books and stuff, none of them had clits, which I thought was weird. Like I figured that out a couple years later, but I remember looking at it, but I was like, wow, these are anatomically very incorrect. What are you trying to teach me here? And they're bald.
I mean, I think it's very important to teach young girls that every vagina is different. Like, you could have like a longer clit than most, or shorter, or like bigger lips or something.
Yeah.
Like, everyone is different.
My dad was awesome actually, but my mom, she shouldn't, like, she would never come to me and like ask how I felt.
My mother was actually really very helpful in teaching me how my body works. Her being so candid and so open and understanding where her personal boundaries of being able to teach me and giving me books for that were really helpful.
My mom was pretty good with it too. She was almost too good. You're gonna get hair down there!
Like half the population of the planet gets periods, and we're so weird about it, right? Like my sister, I feel like she was traumatized, and I have no idea why. We had polar opposite experiences. For her, she just thought that, I don't know, she really wanted this like Cosby Show moment where she'd stay home with mom, and it happened, and I expected it, and I kind of knew what to expect, and I just moved on with my life. My mom just showed me where like the pads and tampons were, and that's where you go get them. I'm watching my niece go through puberty, and one of the first things that happened is she freaked out that she was growing hair, and it's because all you see up until that point is these very inaccurate pictures, and nobody is, and that's not even a conversation I thought to have with her. It also made me realize the space that we live in, where it's like even a 12-year-old thinks that they have to shave in the middle of going through puberty.
That's crazy.
And the hair is so nice and fuzzy then, you know, like it's you know, it's like not gross and wiry like we have it now. Like what was your weirdest puberty experience?
Obviously, I'm small-chested and went through like all my teens and early 20s with what I felt was like no breast. But what is funny to me now in retrospect, when you're smaller chested and your breasts are growing, there's a node that's there that's pretty hard, that's developing all of your breast cells. Well, anyone who is like 14 years old and fairly flat-chested with that node feels like they have breast cancer and they don't know how to tell anyone.
Seriously?
Yeah, and I just remember freaking out about it. And I totally forgot about that experience until last year when one of my students who was around that age came up to me, like pulled me aside and was like, I think I have breast cancer. Like with the most serious face. And I was like, we are going to have a class-wide conversation today because this needs to stop. And it was just funny to me now because it was serious then, and it was, you know, you see on TV like if you feel a lump and this and that, and it was like, wait, I do, hold on. And to realize that it like this is something that gets perpetuated over and over because no one tells you that that's a thing, and then
I didn't even know it was a thing until you just said it.
Like the most awkward part for me was when I got my period and I didn't know how to tell my mom about it. I wrote her like a letter telling her that I needed like, oh, I need to buy new shampoos and like a new t-shirt and tampons. Like,
just kidding.
And then, just like I never actually knew how it worked. And at the beginning, like at first, I didn't get it like monthly. I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know who to talk to. Yeah, but it's normal.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning, it's normal because it's not that regularly.
My mom is very much a person of the 80s, so I have always been around queer folks. That's never been an issue in my house. I'm absolutely sure my mom had women partners.
Actually, when I was like around 13, 14, I started feeling a little weird towards my friends. I don't know, it was weird because like I was interested in like being with guys, but it wasn't as good as like watching a movie and like looking at a pretty lady and like. Then I went to my mom to talk about it, and then actually she was the one that asked me like, perhaps I think you might be gay. Have you ever thought about it? Like,
which is brilliant because she couldn't talk about periods,
but she could. She can talk about like being gay.
So
like
funny.
So open. I had a lot of problems like admitting that to myself, and my mom and my grandmother, they were the ones that like showed me that it's actually the same thing.
I had this very close friend. We did everything together. And one day, I came up to my mom and I said, like, Mommy, I want to be like Aunt Susie. She lives with her best friend. And my mom was like, oh, sweetie, like you like girls? Like you wanna marry a girl? And I was like, what? I was like, no, I just want to live with my best friend. She's like, no, sweetie, like, like your aunt likes women. That's her wife. And I was just, my mind was blown.
But that's nice, and it's nice that your mom could talk to you about it so openly as well. Like,
yeah,
because usually parents, they kind of like try to hide it from their small children.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, my best friend's
they cannot talk about
aunt, she didn't realize her aunt was queer until we were like probably graduating from college.
Oh, wow.
And obviously to me, there's two women who've been living together for the past like over 10 years. It just never clicked to her.
Did you tell her?
Yeah, well, it came up and I just was like, oh yeah, and your aunt and her partner, and she's like, oh my God. It was the funniest thing because we were well into our 20s, and she was just like, I never thought about that. I thought they've been roommates forever. She's like, you know, the rent's expensive here.
All right, I was 6. We need to talk about discharge more. Mm-hmm. Because no one brings up discharge in health classes. And then you're terrified because your discharge changes while you're in a certain cycle.
Yes.
And you're scared that you're pregnant or something's broken or you have an infection when it's completely normal. Mm-hmm. And no one learns about that unless you physically Google it, which is completely
also
uncomfortable.
don't do that.